Good morning and welcome to the Point. It is Wednesday, November 4th, 2020. Thank you to those of you joining us on the GBN Grenada Broadcasting Network's Facebook page, the Grenada Broadcasting Network's YouTube channel, the website www.gbn.gd, those of you watching on GBN TV, channel 7, 11 and 20, and good morning to the listeners of Classic 105.5, 105.9. This morning we are talking tourism. I have joining me are two officials of the Grenada Tourism Authority, the Chief Executive Officer, Ms. Patricia Maher, and Manager Nautical Development at the GTA, Nikoyan Roberts. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning. Good morning.
It's an all-women's affair this morning.
Yes, it is.
All right.
Good morning.
Hope everything is well with the both of you. Let's get into it. Tourism continues to take center stage, especially as we recognize Tourism Awareness Month this month of November. And as part of that, give us the latest update in Grenada's readiness to welcome back and to revitalize the tourism industry.
Yes, Blossom. And I think it's very important to say at the very outset that the best measures have been taken. You know, they really have been put in place now to ensure that the citizens of Grenada and that the visitors coming to our shores are indeed safe, okay? So we've been working really hard with all the stakeholders to ensure that the protocols, all those guidelines are put in place. We have in tourism 6 subsectors, you know, right across the board. So from the accommodation to the food and beverage, to the transportation, to the attractions, to the water sports, indeed to all tourism services, you know, where visitors interact with locals. We've ensured that we have guidelines in place and that they are being adhered to. Now, the latest update for us in terms of tourism is that the Grenada Tourism Authority works very closely with the Ministry of Health, obviously now, these days in COVID-19, and we facilitate the initial inspections. So all of the inspections of the stakeholders are done by the Ministry of Health in the first instance, of course. They have to give it the green light, and we facilitate that process with a certification. So our team at the Grenada Tourism Authority, Quality Assurance Team, led by Ms. Hall, Alison Hall, they are in charge of those inspections to fulfill the mandate, you know, that everybody's certified, yes? And then once they're certified, we want to make sure that there's compliance now, yeah, because with all of these protocols being rolled out and everybody is really on board, we've had tremendous support. We've had over 2,000 tourism stakeholders trained in these protocols, yeah, and all these trainings are conducted by the Ministry of Health. And now our job is really to ensure compliance, you know, to make sure that this is happening, okay? And we're getting tremendous support from the Ministry of Health. They've just engaged a cadre of health wardens to support that initiative. Over 40 plus health wardens will be engaged, and they will be visiting the stakeholders to ensure, you know, to check, to spot check, as they say, you know, just make sure that the sanitizing is happening, that people are wearing their face masks, you know, that people are practicing the physical distancing as promised. Every stakeholder has pledged to do that, you know, and we're very pleased that that's been rolled out now, just to ensure the safety of everyone. It's key, you know. And the beauty of Grenada is that we have a wide variety of accommodations. That is our advantage, actually. You know, we have large hotels, we have all-inclusive, we also have medium-sized, chic, boutique, family-run hotels. We also have small hotels, guest houses, cottages, and indeed we have villas. So we have a lovely portfolio of tourism products, and all of these people want business, you know. Their livelihoods are at stake right now, and we want to help them, you know, to reopen cautiously, of course, but to get business back. Yeah. So these pure safe travel accommodations are our partners, and we're working very closely with them, actually. You know, making sure they have the right criteria, making sure that the visitor, you know, when they come into Grenada, that they remain in these accommodations until such time as they are cleared by the Ministry of Health, you know, with that second PCR test, and then they are basically cleared, and they can then leave the property. But in the initial stages, it's really a partnership, and I have to speak about the hard work that the Grenada Airports Authority has been doing in preparing the airport for the new flow of passengers, because it's totally different, Blossom. I don't know, have you been to the airport since March?
Nope.
No.
I stay in France.
No. Exactly.
I've seen footage of it, to be honest, and in passing I've seen it on, you know, in my peripheral.
Yeah. Well, trust me, you will be really amazed at what has happened at the airport. There's been a lot of work put into the redesign of the terminal building. So when you come off the plane, literally, you're going to be first met by Ministry of Health officials, of course. You get your screening done. And then once the screening is done, yeah, and everything has been checked, you know, you then have to go and confirm your accommodation that you have booked and paid for, you know, before you can come into the country. Because all of these pure safe travel accommodation partners have those bookings, and they have to be paid for. And then you go through your usual screening with customs and immigration, but it's not business as usual, as you can imagine. It's the new normal now. And they've done a lot of work, and it's very smooth and it's very efficient. And I have to say hats off to the Grenada Airports Authority team for that. Yeah, we're very happy to work with them, as well as all our stakeholders. Look at the taxi associations. Look what they're doing for us right now. You know, they really came all out to get themselves ready for the resumption of tourism, for visitors to the country. Yeah, and they've got their decals now on their cars to say that they're pure safe travel approved, you know, and all of the taxi associations across the Tri-Island state have been engaged in the training, in the certification, and in the approval process. So only visitors can go in approved transportations. That's abundantly clear. And we have been communicating with all our overseas offices on our protocols, on our requirements, and we've been educating the visitor, you know, what they have to do when they come to Grenada, and what laws they have to follow. So indeed, it's been a lot of work together with all of the stakeholders. I mean, I have to say the Ministry of Tourism and Civil Aviation is our lead ministry. Of course, our minister has been phenomenal, right, doing tremendous work. We work with the Ministry of Health very closely as well now in these COVID days. Obviously, the Grenada Ports Authority, Nikoyan will speak to that wonderful relationship we have with the Grenada Ports Authority. The Grenada Hotel and Tourism Association. I mean, my goodness, we have really strengthened our partnership with them, because we have weekly calls with them, you know, with the executive of the GHTA, you know, because they want to get back into business. Obviously, they need visitors to come to our shores, and it's very important that we all work and collaborate together. So. And of course, I always have to mention the Royal Grenada Police Force, because, you know, without them, you know, we really are not going to be the wonderful, safe destination that we are, okay? So in essence, really, all of this work has been going on in the background, yeah? But we've been keeping you up to date, as you know, Blossom, on our tourism updates, right? Every week, we've been compiling the information just to make sure that everybody's on board, everybody understands the journey we're on, how we're working together. So every week we have a 15-minute update, a program. We're on week 19 now. So tonight you'll have, no, last night actually, on GBN, just before the news, right? And also on other TV stations, as well as radio and digital. We've been communicating really all of these steps because we understand it's a process to reopen. And of course, I have to mention the whole strategy for local tourism, you know, because you have heard Paradise at Home, right, Blossom? You've heard the phrase Paradise at Home?
The promotion the GTA had running started a few weeks ago. Mm-hmm.
Indeed, we actually started at the end of June, Blossom, when our borders were still closed. Yes, okay? Because we want to get our stakeholders, business, all the people, you know, all of the accommodations, right? The transportation sector, all of our partners, all the restaurants, everybody needs business. So we started the Paradise at Home campaign to promote local tourism. Yeah, and it's taken off, okay? So if you reach out to your colleagues up there in Carriacou and Petit Martinique, they will tell you that Paradise at Home is a winner for them, right? They've never seen so many people coming to Carriacou in recent times. And that's wonderful, isn't it?
I agree. That's a good news. That's good news for the Sister Isles, yes.
Absolutely, because we are in Paradise at Home, and you know, now is the time to enjoy it. So that was our very first focus. We obviously also are focusing on regional tourism because, you know, those countries that have low COVID cases, they're very welcome to come to Grenada. And people who are tested negative. Once they're tested negative, yeah, we're very welcoming to you because we know you've made efforts to keep yourself safe. And you are now negative, yes? And you have proven that to us. So we want to ensure that when you get here, that you remain safe in the beautiful, pure Grenada, the spice of the Caribbean. And that's the very same reason why we launched regionally and internationally a campaign called Pure Grenada Just for You. And you might have seen that as well. We shared it a lot on social media, you know, because when you come in at the airport, you have to have your mask on, you know. Your driver is going to pick you up at the airport with his mask on. And we just want to show people that you can really still enjoy this beautiful destination, yeah? These beautiful accommodations that we have in this country, yeah, safely. And you can have an enjoyable stay in Grenada. So that's really it in a nutshell as a destination update as it relates to tourism.
Do you have, as close to figures as possible in relation to how much people have started coming into the island since we've reopened, first with the soft opening really earlier in the year in June, and since we've opened up to all commercial flights 1st of October? What figures do you have for the arrivals?
Yes, it's a very slow, as you can imagine, the numbers, you know, it's a trickle in the it's a trickle really when you consider what we had last year. So in comparatively, we're down something like 47% year on year over last year. However, I got it yesterday from Minister Modeste that we had about 2,000 arrivals in October because of course the Ministry of Health are processing them first and then we get the data after, yeah? So we've had about 2,000 arrivals to the destination in October. Now, a lot of those are returning nationals or persons who are visiting friends and family, you know, the VFR market. So we are monitoring it closely and, you know, it's going to be slow. It's going to be a very slow process. We know that. But, you know, we believe that we have the right measures in place to grow it and to grow it safely.
Let's look at the nautical side of the tourism industry now. I guess, Ms. Roberts, that's where you come in. And I'll start with a question I saw posed on our YouTube. Well, it's more of a statement on our YouTube page. Tourism without cruise ship is a loss to the economy. Do you subscribe to that statement? How much do you agree with that statement?
Well, I believe, Blossom, good morning, and good morning to all our listeners at home and abroad. And our cruise tourism is a part of the pie. We have to have tourism from all of the different sectors in order to make it work for us. It cannot work without yacht arrivals, our tourism sector. We can't adequately work without our stayover arrivals. So cruise, yachting, stayover, dive, whether you're coming here for sports fishing, it is all engaged. It's part of the bigger mix. I will start this morning with yachting, and then I will go over to cruise. And a soft opening for yachting was actually done in the middle of May. And Patricia was thanking all of our public and private sector partners, because COVID has, really forced us to communicate more and look at finding new ways to do business while we protect lives, So in mid-May, MAYAG, the Marine and Yachting Association of Grenada, they made a proposal to the government and said, Grenada can really position itself as a safe haven for yachts during this period. I mean, the hurricane season, June to November. Carriacou and Grenada started to get yachts in, and you had to come in with your negative PCR test. It was a very limited, strictly controlled environment, full 14 days quarantine required. We worked with the police, customs, immigration, the Grenada Ports Authority, the Ministry of Health, just to ensure that yachts could come in, they could quarantine, while the Ministry of Health and Tourism teams were able to inspect boatyards and marinas and ensure that everyone was trained by the Ministry of Health and that the businesses were inspected and all of the COVID tools put in place in terms of social distancing, hand sanitizers, thermometers to take temperatures. So that was done in Grenada and Carriacou between the middle of May and just a few weeks ago. We have been able to quarantine over 570 yachts and process over 1,300 crew and owners who were living on their yachts. They came in, quarantined, got their second test, and then they were able to have limited movement to pure safe travel approved businesses and generate some money in the economy. And I can tell you that all of our stakeholders appreciated this, especially our stakeholders in Carriacou. We got a lot of feedback from them. So recently, we were able to push through this and harmonize on October 27th the airport protocols with the yachting protocols. So those entry procedures were harmonized, the same requirements for the airport, the same requirements if you're coming in on a yacht. And that is working quite smoothly. And now we've taken all of the lessons learned, all of the hard work and the strategies that have made the slow return to business and profitability for yachting into cruise. The government of Grenada was presented with 2 proposals for cruise, small, ultra luxury. And the first one is the Sea Dream Yacht Club. Now they have between 50 to 112 guests. And working again in a multidisciplinary approach with people from health, from the private sector, from the public sector, security, all of the different sectors represented on the Grenada Cruise Advisory Working Group, Cruise Operations Working Group. And this team was able to scrutinize the proposals, ask questions, ensure that everything is in place so that the government of Grenada can say, yes, our stakeholders have been adequately trained and prepared, and they can gradually receive an opening of business in the cruise sector. That will take place. The first call is expected next Friday, and that will go into Melville Street. And the port agent, St. John's Agencies, I have to thank Mr. Michael St. John for working assiduously with us to get this done. The tour operator, George F. Huggins and Company Limited, again, another strong private sector player, they have put on the table 6 stores. They have said these 6 stores are safe. 3 of them are in the outdoors, snorkeling, doing a rainforest hike. And a few of them are going to places where you can enjoy our chocolates or black gold or waterfall ecotourism experiences. The vendors in these locations, 2 of them have been trained. The tour guides have been trained. The businesses have been inspected. The physical environment is ready. And we have had our businesses approved by the Ministry of Health, the tourism businesses, and the guides themselves will be retrained. The vendors will be retrained. So we're just letting the world know that Pure Grenada is keeping residents safe, and we're open for business, and we're keeping our guests safe. Dive, we've done the first virtual Dive Festival because we're not going to leave Dive out at all. And this was year 4 for a physical event over 4 days in 2 islands, Grenada and Carriacou. This year we were able to pivot and do things differently. A month, the 25th of September to the 25th of October. And every week we released videos showing our reefs, our wrecks, our beautiful, pristine waters, environment, healthy marine life, abundant corals. We did our only physical interaction was Beginner's Dive Day. Again, with a small group of local celebrities, Lexanne Fletcher, Lexanne TV, Cleavon Noel from the GHTA, we had Marcus from ITEL Grenada, and we had entertainer, singer Jefferson Ramirez from Solid the Band. Now they all learned to dive, and we hope they will continue to share the love of Pure Grenada diving to over 50 pristine sites in Grenada and Carriacou with the rest of the world. So we are doing this in a slow, safe, gradual manner. We are considering lives and livelihoods. We are making the best efforts to protect the health of our residents and our guests as Pure Grenada returns to profitability.
How are we able to ensure that the different players do their part in keeping COVID-19 at bay? Because we have a lot of moving parts with various sectors, various parts that make up the tourism sector, and we have to ensure that everybody keep the protocol going. How are we able to keep up? What are the measures put in place to monitor and ensure?
That's a very good question, Blossom. And you know, at the end of the day, I mean, we have to say there's been a lot of work done both from the Ministry of Health and the Ministry of Tourism in terms of informing, you know, and getting the stakeholders ready, you know. And really at this stage, we are asking for personal responsibility, you know, that everybody plays their part, yeah? Everybody plays their part because, you know, if you let down your guard, yeah, if any one of our stakeholders let their guard down, then we're all in trouble, you know what I mean? So, and that's why these health wardens now are going to add tremendous value to the system because they will be the eyes and the ears, yeah? And they can report back to the Ministry of Health on the cooperation, on the collaboration. But, you know, I have to say, and Nikoyan mentioned, you know, the Marine and Yachting Association of Grenada. She mentioned the Grenada Scuba Diving Association, you know. All of our stakeholders, we have never collaborated as closely as we're doing now. It really has brought us all together because we are one nation, we're a small nation, and we're facing this challenge together. It's a global challenge. So we're all working together, and collaboration is key. And I think this leads us very well into our Tourism Awareness Month now, activities Blossom, where we our theme this year is that tourism connects us all, right? And you will see from today on television nationwide, we will be sharing various videos about how tourism connects us all, yeah? Because when you think tourism, you might just think hotels and hotel workers. Now, obviously, they are very valuable. And we want to keep everyone working. We want everyone working again in the sector. We want all those hotels, all those accommodations, all those employees back on the job, you know, and doing what they do best, right? But there are also people who are indirectly connected to tourism, who you don't really think of immediately when you say tourism. For example, the farmer, yeah? The farmer sells his produce, you know, to who? The hotels and the restaurants, yeah, and the bars even. I know those lines go down very well in the bars, right? You know, so indeed, the farmer's source of, you know, he supplies the tourism sector. He is integral to the tourism sector, as is the fisherman. You know, when you come to Grenada, what do you want to do? You want to eat fresh fish. There's nothing like mahi-mahi and, you know, swordfish and all that lovely fresh fish, tuna.
Even the pot fish is sweet.
Yes, I mean, you know, all of these entities, like the fishermen, look at what is happening now to the entertainer. I heard Talpri recently talk about the lack of entertainment opportunities, you know, no more big concerts. It's really tough. But we have a lot of people who are engaged in entertaining in the tourism industry. All those bands, all those singers, all that talent, you know, they need work, right? As well as the florist, the lady who provides the flowers, because we love to showcase our flowers in Grenada to the visitor. I mean, there's nothing like showing off a beautiful bouquet of heliconias, you know, tropical flowers, right? So the florist, and indeed the dancers, you know, all the people who are engaged in tourism, the craft vendor, all of these people, they are connected to tourism. Tourism connects us all, Blossom. And, you know, even at that, there are still even more indirect connections. I was just talking to an IT supplier, yeah, to the GTA. And he has customers in the tourism industry, hotels. And it's really challenging right now because his customers are challenged paying him, you know? So the ripple effect is immense. And I'm sure, you know, if anybody wanted to know how does tourism benefit Grenada, Carrick, and Petit Martinique, now they surely can see the answer, yeah? Because tourism connects us all, Blossom. And we're looking forward to sharing these videos with you and the public over the coming weeks as we enjoy the Caribbean Tourism Awareness Month.
On that note, let's take a quick break, Ms. Ma and Mrs. Roberts. This is To The Point. We're speaking with the Grenada Tourism Authority. We're going to take a quick break and then come on back. Stay with us.
From Monday, November 2nd to Thursday, December 31st, GBN's Christmas Caravan will be blazing the trail of goodness across Grenada. Join us as we journey daily to find the hottest deals this Christmas season. Win prizes from our partners. Get recipes for your favorite Christmas treats and bust a tune in the Christmas Karaoke Fun segment. It's GBN's Christmas Caravan. Weekdays from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Live on Classic Radio 105.5 and 105.9. GBN Television Channels 7 and 11. GBN's Facebook page and GBN's YouTube channel. Your mid-mornings will never be the same.
The Christmas Caravan is brought to you in part by Hubbard's and the Food Fair Supermarkets, Gittins Healthcare, Sissons Paint, and Bryden and Miners and Ace Hardware.
GBN Television News at 7, a pulse on all things Grenadian. Look out for our new features through expanded synergies with our media partners in Barbados, St. Lucia, Jamaica, Trinidad, and beyond. Capturing the latest in news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Credible, informative. Thank you for making us #1. News at 7, live, Monday to Friday on GBN Television, Channel 7 and 11. K105.5 and 105.9, Hot 98.5 and 98.7, GBN Television Facebook page and YouTube channel, and www.gbn.gd. GBN, with you anywhere and everywhere.
That's not how you cross the pedestrian crossing.
Really? One day I just woke up and I saw pedestrian crosswalks on the road. No one really showed me how to use them properly.
Well, this is how it's done. You never cross before doing these things. They might save your life. First, when you get to the crosswalk, you stop. You look left, you look right. If there's a vehicle coming, you put your hand out, making eye contact with the driver, indicating that you want to cross. And only when the vehicle comes to a complete stop, you quickly cross to the other side.
Stop, look, hand out, eye contact. Wait for pedestrian to cross to the other side, then you happily continue on your journey. This message is brought to you by this group of insurance companies, the Traffic Advisory Body, and the Traffic Department.
Wait to see my granddaughter.
EC Polymer Notes, our new money.
Welcome back to The Point. We are speaking with CEO of the Grenada Tourism Authority, Ms. Patricia Maher, and Manager Nautical Development at the GTA, Mrs. Nikoyan Roberts. At this point in the program, we're going to invite our viewers and listeners who may have comments, questions, queries, concerns, tourism related. This is your opportunity to phone in. The phones have already been ringing, actually. 435-2041, that's the landline number. That's also the WhatsApp number. Please, only written messages on WhatsApp. You can post your comments, questions, queries, concerns on Facebook and YouTube. Let's go to our first caller. Good morning, caller.
A pleasant good morning to you. I've been listening very carefully. I have a concern, and I want to know the visitors who come to Grenada and in hotels 2-3 weeks, as the case may be, and are desirous to go to the beach. What is put in place with regards to social distancing when these people are on the beach? You may come in contact probably with a vendor or vendors, or maybe just natives who are probably on the beach. A conversation like start up, and we never could tell what measures are put in place for social distancing in that case.
Thank you, caller. Ladies?
Unfortunately, Blossom, we didn't hear the question at all. You have to repeat it for us.
No problem. He was asking what is the protocol in place for when visitors come into the island and they may visit one of our beaches. What is the protocol in relation to social distancing in case they have to interact with a vendor or just a sea bather?
Well, first and foremost, when the visitor comes into the island, whether it's a returning national or a visitor to Grenada, they are in what they call a travel corridor. So they have to actually go literally straight from the airport to their Pure Safe travel accommodations. And they are confined to that accommodation until such time as they've had a second negative PCR test from the Ministry of Health. And that can take anything between 5 to 7 days, okay, on island. So after that, of course, we now have 2 negative PCR tests from these same individuals. So they are basically allowed to go to the beach, and they are allowed to go to the Pure Safe travel attractions and interact with the tourism vendors, of course, like we all are, because they have proven themselves to be safe, yes, and COVID-free, not once, but twice. And indeed, we would ask our visitors to adhere to the protocols as much as we're asking Grenadians to do so. So when they go to the beach, like we all do at the beach right now, we practice social distancing, yeah? We wear our masks, okay? Because we are in public, and we follow the rules. So that's how it works.
How will it work for cruise ship passengers, though? When the cruise ship industry starts, how would we treat with those passengers, because they can't quarantine for 2 weeks? So what happens there? I think that's most of the concern for us, that the cruise cruise shippers, if that's a term, only comes for one day, what happens in that instance? Have we already, or do we already have a plan in place for that?
We certainly do, Blossom. The cruises will resume, the small luxury cruises. Sea Dream is a luxury operation. It's a very controlled environment for now. So if you are not booked on one of the 6 tours that we have vetted and prepared for you with our COVID-19 health protocols, then you will not be allowed to leave the ship. And for 2020, the Cruise Operations Group recommended to Minister Modeste Kerwin that we do not use any of the beaches right now. The testing, Blossom, is even more rigorous because when you get into the airport, you have to come in with a negative PCR test. Before you get into Grenada on Sea Dream Yacht Club, you have to have not 1, not 2, but 3 negative PCR tests. You are required to have a negative PCR test before you arrive in Barbados. You are required to have a negative PCR test before you get on board the ship. And the ship has a PCR facility, their medical testing facility. They have a machine on board where you do the 3rd test. The ship will home port in Barbados and visit St. Vincent and the Grenadines and Grenada. And before that passenger gets off in Grenada to go on that pre-book tour, they will have been tested 3 times.
Okay, so we seem to have that part of on lockdown. Hopefully everybody cooperates. But that's
on lockdown. Everybody, that's the key word, Blossom. Everybody needs to cooperate because we have designed a very controlled environment and we all have to play our part in order to make it work seamlessly.
When is that ship scheduled to arrive? Remind me.
Next Friday. It will be a weekly call on a Friday from 8 in the morning, and they would leave around 5 or 6 in the afternoon.
And
that's the only business for cruise that has been recommended for 2020.
Okay, and after that ship, do we have another one coming anytime soon? And all ships have to follow the same protocols that we have set, or we have different ones for your size of the ship and so on?
No, all of the protocols will be led by rigorous testing in order to control what is taking place in the global environment. So it's one protocol. We will review for everyone to see, is there something a little different? But basically, the testing will remain the same. There are other proposals on the table. Sea Dream is an ultra luxury brand, but they will not come into Grenada until January.
Okay, all right. I think I got it. Let's go back. Let me see. The phone is ringing before I go to the other. There's a question on the YouTube that asks, how can someone become a health warden?
Yes, well, this is actually managed by the Ministry of Health, Blossom. So they have engaged the wardens. They're working in collaboration with the Ministry of Youth. So my response to that would be you need to contact the Ministry of Youth and the Ministry of Health. Yeah.
There is another question on the YouTube that is asking, what are the plans for local tourism? Someone that wishes to have a wedding anniversary and has plans of traveling overseas, but no, because of the virus they can't. Would that be part of the staycation promotion, or are we looking to advance and develop the promotion that we currently have for locals?
Absolutely. It's a perfect time to celebrate with your family and friends, you know, right here in Grenada, Carrick, and Petit Martinique. And that's why we say it's paradise at home, you know. We know for sure that we have over 30 stakeholders right now partnering with us, Blossom, on our Paradise at Home campaign. And they are on the puregrenada.com/deals page. So if you check our website and you want to see what is being offered right now to locals in order to enjoy the destination, what discounts, what deals, you know, what packages are available, please check our website. It's been constantly updated because it's actually more than doubled since we started, actually, the number of offers on there. And we're expecting more to come as we go into the Christmas season, you know, because if you want to take a break at Christmas time. We're all working hard here. So we want to take, if you want to take a escape to paradise, well, we have paradise right at home.
Let me make sure the phones are not ringing before I go to 321. Right. WhatsApp. Somebody on WhatsApp is asking if, well, I'm not sure if you'll have that information, but I'm asking it. If the fire extinguishers at the departure lounge at the airport have been replaced, the extinguishers have been empty for a number of years and lives are at risk. Any information on that?
Is that, I didn't hear the question clearly, Blossom. Can you repeat it?
The person is saying that there are, is it empty? I guess that's the word, empty fire extinguishers at the departure lounge at MBIA if they've been replaced. Do you have any info on that?
I'll have to know. We don't have any information on empty fire extinguishers. No, we don't. So we'll have to reach out to our colleagues at the Grenada Airports Authority to clarify that query.
The plans for Tourism Awareness Month, with the restrictions that COVID brings with it, how would we commemorate it in addition to, Tourism Connects Us All?
Well, absolutely. The Tourism Connects Us All is the theme. Thank you so much, Blossom, for sharing that. We're very happy because it really does connect us all. And we will be reaching out to the schools as we do every year. This year, actually, we had planned to take the school children to visit the stakeholders, in the hotels and the marinas and the different tourism stakeholders so that they could experience it firsthand, So what we're going to use a lot is virtual. We're going to use technology like we're doing with you now. So before we would have come into the studio and sat with you on a morning time, and now we're using technology. So we're going to do the same thing in November. We're going to use technology to share with the kids in the schools, literally how the tourism sector works and engage with the primary and secondary school children, because they're our future. And we know there's a lot of opportunity for them in tourism, from all angles of tourism, from the dive association, as Nikoyan spoke about, to become a dive instructor, in the yachting sector, to start a business. There's a lot of opportunities in tourism for young Grenadians, and we want to share that with them all through the month of November. So, and that of course in tandem with our Tourism Connects Us All campaign.
There's a Facebook question. What is in place for entertainers? Has the GTA been able to work along with our entertainers? Even earlier, Ms. Maher, you noted that there's not much work for our local entertainers. Has the GTA been able to collaborate with them and, give them a little work, for lack of a better phrase?
Absolutely, Blossom. Yes, we really do feel for everybody who's not working right now in tourism. We want everybody working again. And it's for that reason that we actually partnered with This Is Home, with some fantastic local talent who produced a CD, and everybody in Grenada should get that CD. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's their original soundtracks, and Sabrina Francis, of course, our beautiful singer, has collaborated with several artists, from Mr. Killer to Zarina Andel, to Tamara St. Bernard. And they've put together this amazing CD, and they're having concerts as well. They're having monthly concerts. Now, of course, they're virtual because that's the new normal, isn't it? So they're sharing their talent virtually for now. And we've already sponsored, I believe, 2 of those concerts, and there's 2 more to go, 1 in November and 1 in December. So we're working together to see how we can help, yes.
Let's go back to the phone lines. Good morning, caller.
Yes, good morning, Citizen Welsh. Greetings and greetings to your guests. Now, I beg your humble indulgences because I joined the broadcast late. If this question has been asked and answered already or referred to in any way, please just call it off. Now, I know as a fact, because I've read it, that there are some protocols, so-called, biosanitary protocols established for people visiting our country, quote-unquote, through the ports of entry. However, in recent times, I heard the so-called Minister for Tourism referring to some additional things where people may enter the country through, quote-unquote, through our beaches of entry. Can someone tell from your delegation there, tell us where these protocols are, how they're established, how they're spelled out, because I can't find them otherwise. And additionally, where the minister gets the legal teeth to prohibit our people from visiting our beaches just to satisfy the needs of some foreign fund seekers. Thank you very much, and do have a nice day, will you?
Thank you very much. Ladies?
Blossom, I'm sorry, but we didn't hear the caller at all. I mean, it's very hard to hear him. I don't know why we're not hearing. I don't know if the other listeners can hear him as clearly.
Yeah, I'm not too sure why. But he was.
Can you repeat the question for the sake of clarity?
No problem. He was inquiring about the announcement, should I say announcement, made a few weeks ago by the minister in relation to visitors going to our beaches, and the statement that was made, or the suggestion that was made, that the beaches may be closed off to members of the public to accommodate our visitors. And the question was really the rationale behind that part of the plan for the tourism industry. Hopefully I got it correct.
Yeah, and as we said, as Nikoyan referenced with regard to it, that was specific to cruise, and right now for our cruise sector, we are taking the visitors on pre-planned tours, not to any beaches, to pre-planned tours. Visitors can only visit the beaches, as I mentioned earlier, once they have cleared on the COVID-19 negative second test, and we're absolutely assured that they're as safe as we are. And then we can all enjoy the beaches together, because that's why people come to Grenada, all our visitors, whether they're returning nationals or coming in from all over the world, they come to enjoy the beaches, and we will absolutely make sure that when they do enjoy our beaches, and they enjoy them like we enjoy them, following the same rules and guidelines.
As a sort of follow-up to that, are there plans, or what are the plans in place to inform the public? Because with the pre-planned tours and the sites that they'll be going to, would members of the public be told where they'll be going? Would it be closed off to members of the public? What's the plan for that part of the tour?
Okay, the tours that they will be taking, they will do snorkeling at the underwater sculpture park. That's, you go out on a boat. You're wearing your mask, you're socially distanced on the boat, but of course, when you're going into the water, you don't need to have your mask on. It's a natural, open environment, very healthy, very pristine. You're going kayaking on glass-bottom boats. Now, again, this is an outdoor, healthy, soft adventure activity. So you will not be next to someone. I think you have kayaks where you can have two people, maybe two people in the same household, a husband and a wife. But in terms of that activity, again, you are, in the outdoors, what Pure Grenada is famous for. River tubing on the Balthazar River. That is another, open and healthy experience. Now, when you go to the Nutmeg Factory or the Diamond Chocolate Factory, both are approved businesses in terms of health protocols. And at these facilities, you will be able to have the interpretation as to what is taking place. You will be able to taste everything, but you are managed under these tourism and health approved protocols for the attractions themselves. A rainforest hike to Seven Sisters, or going to Annadale Waterfalls. Again, that is a very natural, open, healthy environment, and it's easy to put our social distancing practices into place. And if we are near to people, the guides who are interpreting for us, it's not difficult to wear our masks.
So members of the public will not be restricted from visiting these sites. We just need to observe the protocols.
That is correct. Yes.
Okay, just making sure. We have a caller on the line. Good morning, caller.
Yeah, good morning. I'm asking myself, or I'm asking you all.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. If when this vessel, ship, yacht, the vessel, ship or yachts or whatever come, where do they have to dock first? If they have to dock first, let's say at the harbor, And when they do they have people to inspect them and check them before they go on to a particular beach which has been assigned to them?
Thank you, caller. Again, they will not be visiting the beaches. The question is, where will the yachts be docked before they land? Do we have a specific docking area, or do they have to call ahead to say this is where we want to dock? Can we also?
No, we have worked with our state-owned enterprise partners, the police, the Port Authority, Customs, Immigration, the private sector, Brenreel, to prepare the Melville Street Cruise Terminal, and in the event of challenging weather, swells, etc., to prepare the Burns Point Cruise Welcome Center, so that for yachting, they go to Mount Pandy. The testing is done at the Grenada Yacht Club, and in Carriacou, they go to the Tyrrell Bay facility. The Port Authority manages that, and they have their testing done at one of the Carriacou marinas.
There is a WhatsApp question. What provisions are available for disposal of yacht waste? If provisions are not available, we will no longer be pure Grenada.
Okay, so the facility was also made at Camp Nicholson in the initial stages, Camp Nicholson, Port Louis Marina, and now at the Grenada Yacht Club, and we have to thank those private sector businesses, and they were able to arrange for the removal of waste, kitchen waste from the yachts, and once they were finished with their quarantine, no yacht while on quarantine was allowed to dump any of their tanks unless they were doing it at a facility in Grenada or a facility in Carriacou. The government is also looking at recommendations as to how we can strengthen our marine waste management procedures and protocols going forward.
Let me see. Right. There was a WhatsApp question. What support staff is viewed as critical to ensure strict adherence to the protocols? The health wardens?
Please, yes.
Sorry?
Can you repeat it to us?
Oh.
Can you repeat the question?
What support staff is viewed as critical to ensuring strict adherence to the protocols?
Well, you know something, all staff, all staff are critical to ensure the protocols are implemented. Remember, over 2,000 persons have been trained in the industry, and they are now certified, and they all have their certificate of participation, and they know what's required to keep everybody safe. So we're working together. Everyone is working together on this. So all staff is the answer.
And let's take our final caller. Good morning, caller.
Good morning to you, Ms. Blossom, and good morning to the two ladies. Wonderful thing. I think that we are making some progress in Grenada in trying to bring back tourism as it is. But I want to find out what is in place that if people do not adhere to those laws, what kind of decision will be taken. Lots of time, we hear a lot of talk. We know a lot of rules and regulation is put in place, but they're not being obeyed. You have breakdown soon after. We want to know what are the restrictions, how stiff is the restrictions to making sure that people adhere to those conditions. And secondly, I was somewhat disappointed when we had to cancel the ship coming into Grenada because the proper arrangement for fire was not in place, and it was due to carelessness, in my opinion, on the airport. The material was ordered and they said it didn't come in time. Then we should not have go ahead and announced that. I think it was some embarrassment. We see the manager of the airport went on leave or take holiday because of that. What is in place to make sure that something like that doesn't happen again? That was very embarrassing, and I think the ministry and the authorities are responsible for that. What is in place to make sure that things like that don't happen again?
Thank you, caller. Ladies?
Okay, we're trying to piece together the question again, Blossom, because for some reason we're not getting it as clearly as you are.
The first one was, what are the punishments in place? And I think there was also a WhatsApp question. What are maybe the charges that can be laid on visitors who do not adhere to the protocols? And the other one was, what is in place to ensure that another debacle like what happened at the MBIA with having to be downgraded because we did not have the equipment, what is in place to ensure that that does not happen again?
Okay, well, thank you, caller, for the question, and thank you for the compliment that we are progressing and making strides in tourism and border openings, so thank you for that. And indeed, I think the message is very important that the Royal Grenada Police Force, I mentioned them earlier, you know, as a very important stakeholder to us in tourism, that we all are working together to ensure adherence and compliance with the regulations, you know. We couldn't do it without the Royal Grenada Police Force, and kudos to them for their wonderful work. And also, we're working very closely with the Grenada Airports Authority. As I mentioned earlier, the actual airport is looking absolutely better than ever. We have a wonderful process in place for our passengers coming in now to ensure that they are safe. And we have to also give credit to the Grenada Airport Authority for all the hard work that has been put in place over the last several months, actually, since June, really. We've been working very closely together. So to answer the caller's question, it's really a collaboration of Team Grenada right across the board, whether you're talking the ministries at the government level, whether you're talking the statutory bodies, whether you're talking the private sector. You know, we are all working together to really make this happen, because it's so important for us to get everyone working again, yeah, to get everybody back on the job, everybody working again, to get the economy moving, and to really recover from this pandemic.
Ladies, thank you both so much for stopping by to the point this morning. Appreciate it. Appreciate the information that you shared. Thank you so much. Continue to stay safe and doing what you need to help Grenada's tourism industry bounce back. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Blossom. Thanks.
Have an enjoyable day. All right. CEO of the Grenada Tourism Authority, Patricia Maher, and Manager Nautical Development at the GTA as well, Nikoyan Roberts, our guests this morning. We thank them so much for passing through, and thank you, our viewers and listeners, for tuning in to The Point this morning. That's the end of my time today. I'll be back with you tomorrow morning, God willing. Have yourselves a safe, productive, wonderful Wednesday. The Christmas Caravan with JC and Janelle is up next. Stay tuned to Classic.